Hello, everybody. Welcome to lesson 9, extra income, side jobs, and side hustles, the basics. Who's excited for this one? This is all about whether you should get a side hustle or a side job, and then the basics of we kind of dive into finding a side job. The whole next lesson is about side hustles. So we're going to get into it. I know a lot of you have skipped over here. You've skipped to this part of the course because you think that you absolutely need a side income or extra income. And that's not the wrong thing to do. Okay. So if you're here and you've skipped over here, just make sure to go back and do the rest of the course as well. This is not the only thing that can fix what's going on in your life. Okay. So let's just get started. All right. I love this, by the way. This is one of my favorite lessons. So I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. All right. Okay. The ultimate guide to paying off debt and never getting back in debt again. All right. Let's get going. So before you start this lesson, you should have a few things. You should know if you're making a big life change and whether it's your living situation, your transportation, and or your utility and clothing spending. You should have a plan for how you'll lower your housing and utilities. You should have a commitment on your way of transportation. And you should have a month-by-month plan for when and how you'll buy clothing. That's, of course, if you did not skip here. If you skipped here, you won't have any of that. So please remember to take any questions to your group financial coaching sessions. You get 2 per month for the 6-month subscription. So please maximize what you get out of this course and go to those group financial coaching sessions. You've already paid for this course, so I don't get anything from you going to those group financial coaching sessions. That's just for you. I'm asking you to go for your own help, so you get the help that you should get. So anyway, all right. At this point, you've been working on your budget and you've looked at the biggest expenses. If you're going to make a big life change, to make a big change in your life. Wow, I had to read that a couple times. I wrote this whole thing, so with some reviewers, but you should know if you're going to make a big life change to make a big change in your life. Okay. I feel like an announcer. You are changing your life just by signing up for this course and committing to changing your life and then making the changes. You actually are changing your life. So let's get into this. Extra income. Another way to balance your budget and get some more money to throw at debt is to get a side hustle or a side job. Let's define those because those aren't the same thing. So a side hustle, that's when you're in charge. You own your schedule, the costs, finding clients, and what you charge. This is a high risk area. It's high risk, it's unreliable, but it can be high reward. Okay. Or you can get a side job. That's when you work for someone else. You get a schedule given to you and you get paid for your hours. You don't have to worry about costs or finding clients or what's charged. It's low risk. Generally, it's reliable and it's sometimes lower reward. Now, I'm not saying don't just look at the reward because well, you know what? We'll get into it. Pick your hard. I want to say that. Pick your hard. A side hustle can make you a lot of money, or because it's high risk, it can make you just a little bit of money. It's a lot of effort and rejection for the amount of money you make. The risk is high and you might not sell anything. You might actually lose money. Okay. A side job, that makes you a predictable amount of money. It's lower effort to find a part-time side job and you don't have to face as much rejection or anxiety. Okay. So pick your hard. I'm not leaning toward a side hustle or a side job for anyone here. I'm not trying to convince you one way or the other. It really depends on your personality and your spirit. If you're an entrepreneur, then you probably know that you're an entrepreneur already. I knew from my early teens. Okay. You're fine with a bunch of rejection. You know that in order to make money, you have to hustle your little heart out. Okay. You're okay gambling on the cost of doing business and you realize that you might lose money. Like I've been saying, you might lose money. You're willing to take a great risk with no guaranteed payout. If that sounds like you, go for the side hustle. Okay. You have the personality for it. If that sounds like absolute hell to you, then don't create a side hustle. You want to get paid for your hours. Great. Go find a part-time job that fits your schedule. You'll have a predictable second income, okay, that you can throw right at your debt. You'll have the taxes taken out. You won't even have to worry about all that complication. You won't have to figure out how to find customers or market or sell things. Excellent. Go get that second income. All right. Here's a profile of an entrepreneur. They're creative and curious. They're go-getters. They're okay with rejection. They enjoy risk. They change quickly. When something's not working, they rethink it and change it within a few minutes. They can change, they can focus with energy and intensity. They're self-disciplined. They persevere until the job is done. They start things and follow up. Here's a profile of an employee, somebody who would want a side job. They're risk averse. They don't have the risk to take. Maybe they don't have that much money to put on the line, and they'd rather, they want to keep work at work. They like taking direction. They want something that's a little easier. They enjoy a predictable income. Maybe they don't want to do any marketing, or they avoid rejection. All of this is fine. There's nothing wrong with being an employee or being an entrepreneur. You just have to know who you are. And I will say, if you're getting out of debt and you don't have very much money to put on the line here, or you want to have a quicker startup, I've done both. I've had a side job working for somebody else, and I've also had a side hustle that now turned into a full-time gig. So you can do one at one point in your life and another at another point in your life. That is completely and totally possible. So you have two decisions to make. The first one is, do you need a second income? What difference would it make in your budget? Take a look at your budget and think about your life and figure out if you need a second income. Then number two, should you be an entrepreneur or an employee? And there's no judgment either way. So really, really sit down, and at this point, you have your bottom line budget. You're looking at it and you're wondering, do I need a second job? Is that going to help here? And a second job comes with some trade-offs, right? The biggest one is time. And a lot of people will come to me and they'll say, well, I work 3 or 4 really long shifts every week and I have no time, and I need the time to recover, or I want the time to spend with my kids. But then they start thinking about the time that they spend outside of work, and it's stressed out time. It is high anxiety time. It is time where they're worrying about money, or they're worrying about debt collectors calling them, or they're worrying about something else. And so I've coached parents through getting second jobs and taking their kids along, finding jobs where they can take their kids along. I've coached single people through finding second jobs or side hustles. And there is a way. If you have time, there is a way. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to have 3 part-time jobs that all take 20 hours each and work 100 hours a week and never sleep or see your kids. I'm not saying that. So don't think I'm here telling you to work your little heart out and dig yourself an early grave. I'm not saying that. Think about the time that you have in your schedule. Early mornings, that's fine too. One of my earliest part-time side jobs was as an early morning nanny. I helped a few girls get on the bus in the morning because their parents had to get to work at like 7 a.m. So I was there just to do like kid duty for 2 hours not every morning, it was like 3 times a week. And it really helped things move along. So think about different gigs like that and the time that you have, where that's placed during the day, and what you can do with it. Figure out what fits into your life. Okay, so you want some hints, some quick wins? The rest of this video, by the way, will be about picking up a second job. We'll talk through starting a side hustle in the next video. So if you're an entrepreneur, maybe just sit through this video, so you can get some ideas and you know what I think about it. But the next video will be about starting a side hustle. Okay. So let's talk about that second job. Talk about what kind of jobs you can find quickly so you can add some income this month. Okay. Okay. In the next month. So here's some side jobs that you can get quickly. Delivery jobs, jobs at Target, McDonald's, those big corporations that are everywhere. Bank teller jobs, they're usually hiring. A lot of places are. Library shelving, grocery stores are hiring, coffee shops, customer service, laundromat attendant. They're all generally hiring. So you can find those kinds of jobs quickly. And at least where I am, they generally will pay $15, $16, $17 an hour, even at McDonald's. So one thing I want to point out here, when people start doing this, one of the major barriers to starting is their reputation. Okay, so people might ask you questions, they might judge you, but I also want to let you know that people might help you. If they see that you're working McDonald's on the weekend, well, guess you can judge them right back. But yeah, I just saw through this, some of your jaws drop and your eyes roll far back into your head. Don't hurt yourself, folks. Look, McDonald's is hiring around here for $16, $17 an hour. That's $16 more per hour than you're making sitting on your couch. If you can beat that working somewhere else, doing something else, then beat it. Do it. Go get that money. You might be hearing all this and be worried about your reputation. What will people think of me? That's a great question. If you're worried about people judging you, know this, they will. Yeah, they will. If someone from work sees you working at McDonald's, they will worry that you're in a bad financial situation. You can judge them right back for eating McDonald's. You could. It's helpful to have a few comebacks if they ask you questions. If someone asks why you're working another job, feel free to have some canned responses. Okay, it helps. It'll help you and it'll help them. So people asked me questions like that all the time, and I had no shame because I don't know if you've heard my story, but I had been losing my hair and my memory. I had no shame about working a second job to get out of debt. Here's just what I said. Here's what I said. I'm working to pay off my car loan. I never want to have a car loan again. So I'm working like heck to pay it off. Or I said this, I didn't realize how much money these student loans are. I'm just trying to pay them off faster. And anyone can relate to that one. And oh, you found me. I was hoping to keep this a secret. I'm just trying to pay off some debt that I got when I was stupid. I'm learning about money now, and it's helping me sleep better at night. Thanks for asking. Now, that one got me in trouble. So the more I talked about money, the more people asked me about money. And the more people asked me about money, the more I wanted to help them. And the more I helped them, well, here we are. So that could get you in trouble, those comebacks. So here's the truth. 76% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and 60% of Americans cannot pay for a $1,000 emergency. 60%. So if you're worried about your reputation here, don't be. Yeah, people are going to judge you. But the moment you turn it around and you become candid and you become real and you tell them that, yeah, I'm just working to try to better my financial situation, you'll probably inspire them. You're probably helping them. I didn't know it at the time, but when I worked a second job, I helped my friends get up the nerve to do it themselves and to pay off some debt. I had no idea. They didn't tell me. Money was a taboo subject. But I broke that taboo, and it gave them the nerve to do what they needed to do to pay off some debt. When I talked about my finances and how I regretted financing my car, they started opening up, some of them, not all of them, some of them started opening up about how they regretted their debt too. Okay. When I talked about paying off one student loan at a time, they asked how, and they started doing it themselves. You can make a change in your community. You can change your community. You can get out of debt yourself and change your family, your friends, and your whole community. It might sound judgmental at first when people ask you what's going on, but the ones who are hungry will admire you. They'll realize how hardworking you are and how much you want to change your life. They might even help you too. Okay. So know this, you're inspiring your friends and family when you do the hard work to get out of debt. It's been a few years now, and my friends and family, like they regularly turn to me and my husband for financial advice and help troubleshooting their financial situations. And yes, it's not what I do. I've said that a couple times, but they came to me before I became a financial coach. That's actually why I became a financial coach. I was helping my friends and my colleagues pay off their debt, and it was fun for me. So go get that second job. The next lesson dives much deeper into how to find customers and market yourself. It's more for those of you who are thinking about side hustles instead of part-time jobs. So let's just talk about where you start with a side job, okay? You need to know a few things before getting a side job. If your full-time job doesn't allow you to work in some spaces, you need to know that. Okay. You need to know that because if you work in, say, the financial space and you want to become a financial coach like me, all power to you. Your full-time job probably has a clause in the contract you signed saying that you can't. So go read that. Go read the handbook. Go read everything that you sign. Just get it from HR. Don't give them a reason. They don't need it. And see if you can do the job that you want to do. Okay. You also need to know your schedule, when you can work. You need to know your limitations, what you can and cannot do, both physically and mentally. And I know it's taboo to talk about that, but I've talked about my physical limitations. I have physical limitations. There's some things I cannot do. That's totally fine. You should know your target hourly wage, right? So if somebody offers you $15 an hour, but you're actually making $60 an hour in your job, go find something that's maybe closer to what you're doing in your job. You should also know what your best skills are. So everyone has some skills. Everyone. Go ahead and think about what your best skills are and find a job that uses them. It'll probably pay you more too. So once you know what you can do, when you can work, your target hourly wage and your best skills to use, you can start matching that list up with available jobs. So go look through job postings. I Google part-time jobs near me. That's it. Part-time jobs near me. And I find the best listed near me online. Okay. So I just go through that list to see what are the part-time jobs near me. Other than that, walking around to small businesses and asking if they're looking for a part-time person also works. And the reason that still works is because it costs money to list jobs online. Okay. So if you're looking for those part-time businesses, a part-time job, and you have businesses that you really love, just ask them if they're looking for a part-time person. It'll save them the cost of putting something online there. Okay. So this is when I Googled part-time jobs near me. And I see, behavior technician, I see babysitter needed for my children, I see part-time warehouse, package assistant, just a bunch of different things, either on Google or Indeed.com. Actually, that's all on Google. So not every part-time job will match your hours, skills, and limitations. Find one that does, rule them out, be ruthless. Find one that does and apply to it. And here are some application tips. Okay. Attach a resume and a cover letter. And a cover letter. And a cover letter. Attach a resume and a cover letter. Okay. Okay. Am I obnoxious yet? Use proper and professional grammar. You download Grammarly. Make sure that you're checking your grammar or you ask someone to check it for you. Follow up if you can with someone local from the company on LinkedIn. Say, hey, I just saw this job posting and do you happen to know who the hiring manager is? I wanted to drop him a personal note. That sort of thing. And then, and this is the biggest deal, apply to 20 to 30 jobs per week until you have one that you've already started. not just one that you love, one that you already started. Now, here's another thing. You should not have to pay to apply or become an employee of any company. There should be no payment involved. If there is a payment, it's probably a scam. Don't do it. You should not work for just commission. Okay? Don't work for just commission. That's hard. Always negotiate the starting wage. Always, 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 always try. Always try. Now go start applying and come to the group financial coaching sessions and ask any questions you have there. Okay. Let's review what we covered. We covered the difference between a side hustle and a side job. We covered whether you should get a side job or start a side hustle. We covered how to respond to people who see you at a second job, what you can say. We covered what to look for in a side job, and we covered how to secure a side job. Don't forget your cover letter, guys. So anyway, okay. So here's your homework. Decide whether you need an extra income or not. Look at your budget and see if it would make a significant difference if you have the time and space for an extra job. Then decide between a side hustle or a side job. Think through your personality and how you take rejection and responsibility, all those things. If you'd rather work for someone else, that's fine. That's great. Go do that. 3, start applying for side jobs if a side job is in your future. And if not, watch the next video. Hone down your criteria for a side job and start applying for them online, 20 to 30 a week until you have one that you've already started. This lesson is about figuring out if you need a second income and then how to find a part-time job if you decide to get one. Getting that side job can make a huge difference in your in your debt-free journey. And if you have questions or you need help, please come to Group Financial Coaching. We're here to get you out of debt for good. Okay. Before you start the next lesson, you should have an idea of whether you're going to get a side job or a side hustle or neither. And if you decide to get a side job, then you should have a profile of the kind of job you're looking for, hours, skills, all that sort of thing. And you should have started to apply for side jobs. The next lesson is about side gigs and extra jobs, finding your niche and selling. It's about kind of starting up your side gig or your side hustle. So we are going to get into that, and I will see you in the next lesson. Go do your homework, guys.